Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good evening, and thank you for having me. This is Coach Ebuka reaching you live from Abuja, Nigeria. Live from Abuja, Nigeria. And I'm happy to be here as we celebrate International Men's Day. It's so crucial. It's so crucial for us at this time. And I'm particularly excited that an organization as yours is interested in this. All right, and that is what we've been advocating, that organizations who are doing great things should become intentional about what men and boys are also going through. All right, we need to be more intentional about this. And I'm happy that our organization as yours is so intentional. And I want to see more organizations becoming focused on issues that concern us in the society. All right, I've been in this space for some time now, working with boys and men, and I'm particularly excited that it's beginning to draw attention around the globe, and people are beginning to see the need and the importance of this course, because a whole lot needs in the society. I keep saying it: if our boys are not equipped to lead families, then the families of the next generation will have no leaders. So I was particularly excited when I saw that the International Men's Day theme for this year was helping boys and men. Because the truth is that no matter how we want to even help our men, I'm happy they are recognizing the need why boys have to be included even as we help our men. Because a boy is what will definitely become a man. And so if our boys are not equipped, how can they become men? All right, so this is so crucial. And why is this important? Because of the role even men play in the society. And I keep saying that when our men are broken, the society is broken, because these men are the ones that will be the fathers, the leaders, the husbands. And we can't deny the place of these people in the home and in the society. We're in the crisis we are today as a people, as a nation, because a lot of our men are not where they should be. We keep crying on the kind of families we are having, the kind of nation, the kind of institution, the kind of government we are having. But where does it lie? The kind of men we are building. So it goes a long way to tell us that when our men are properly equipped, are responsible, are in their place, then most of the issues we are struggling in the society will be a thing of the past, because they've recognized the place of responsibility and what they must do as a people. And so that is why it's so crucial. And I'm happy again because we're talking about boys and men, because for a boy to become a man, he needs another man to guide him. And what we're seeing today is a vicious circle of broken men. A lot of boys who really want to understand what true masculinity is all about, but they are struggling. They are having issues. Who can I learn from? Who will model this? I've seen some boys who say, my father cannot even be my model, because I see him hitting, shouting, yelling, violent. I see some boys who talk about how their fathers are promiscuous. So it shows us, it goes a long way to tell us that our boys who are being molded to become men are even struggling on how to do that. And until these questions are answered, until these issues are sorted, we'll keep going around the vicious circle of broken men and eventually a broken society. Because if the foundation be destroyed, what are we going to do as a people? And this is a crucial foundation. And I'm happy that the world is coming to realize the dire need for this. Because for me, I believe we have been living in denial of what is actually happening.
Where with you?
I believe we're living in denial of what is happening. Because if we look at the issues happening around, is it from rape? Is it from cultism? Is it to drug? Is it to fraud? Is it to insecurity? Is it to criminalities? We can't deny the place of these young men who are causing a lot of mayhem because they were not equipped, because they didn't really understand what responsibility is all about. So everybody in the society suffered from the ripple effect of a broken man. So it's a high time we begin to call ourselves to order. It's a high time we begin to look at these issues as they are, critically, in a more focused, in a more intentional, in a more sincere way, because I think sometimes we are not sincere
about what is actually going on and call ourselves to God and say, where is this issue? Where are these issues even coming from? What is even happening? How can we go to the roots and begin to deal with these situations as they are? And for me, that is so crucial. That is so important for us as a people that we need to look at. And leaving that line, we can also deny the fact that a lot of men are even struggling. Mental health, a lot of emotional issue going on, and the societal norm that have put a lot of men in a cage where they will feel, oh, men don't cry, men don't have issue. Man na man, man na man, body na body, and because of that, we keep seeing issues that men are going through, and our boys are learning the same thing. A lot of men are dying. We will not deny the fact that suicide rate is higher among men, even though more women attempt the act, but more men commit the act. Is higher among men. Depression, because of a lot is going on that men are not talking about. Because we have been caged in the societal norm that, oh, a man has all it takes. A man can do everything. Man na super. He doesn't have any problem. Sometimes even in this world, people ask me, what issue does a boy have? Do men have problem? Why are you even working with boys? And I keep saying we are living in denial. No wonder we are losing a lot of our men to untimely death, to terminal illness, because they are suffering and smiling. A man will be dying, and until he's in coma, he's not going to speak. And these issues are affecting us as a people. So for me, I'm speaking from these two divides, we are talking about why it's important for us to begin to focus on these issues that concern men. And secondly, that is men and boys. And secondly, what are the dire issues that men and boys are going through in the society? So we need to look at these things critically as we begin to work. So as we dive into this thing, helping men and boys, what are the different areas we need to begin to talk about as we begin to approach this issue? And for me, the first area I want to talk about is modeling. Because if you want to help somebody, what is the pattern that you're using to help the person? If you want to help somebody, what is the template that you're using to help the person? And I think that is one of the disfavor we have done to especially our boys that are being raised. Who is the pattern? Who are we? How are we helping them to become what we want them to be in the society? We are running an organization, and I know what it will mean like if you have a head of an organization who is a thief, who is corrupt, who lacks respect, who lacks honor, who the organization will just be gone, will be dead and gone. And that's what we're seeing in our society and our world. When we have people at the top who are not modeling, who are not showing what a responsible man should be, the marriages suffer, the institutions suffer. Look at the effect, the rate of broken home. Look at what is happening in our society today. I will keep asking, who will correct this mess? How are we going to come out of it? How are we going to begin to deal with it as a people? Who will rise up and change that narrative? Our boys are also asking the same question. But I come to ask, this is the first thing I want to talk about. Who will now model? Who will show the way? So if we must help our boys and men, we must begin to raise models. We must begin to be intentional in modeling, in mentoring, in raising. Whenever I go to schools to talk, I just came from Lokoja over the weekend. I know boys were asking me, sir, these things you are talking about, who will teach us? Who will show us? Some of them were so disheartening that they don't even have teachers in school that even understand what they are going through that can really model. I don't want to go to the homes. I've gone to places where our boys say, my father can't be my role model. So they say, sir, do you want me to be a violent person? Do you want me to be a drunkard? I said, no. You want me to be promiscuous? No. Then how can I learn from my father? So we are having a gross shortage of male models who are supposed to be showing other males the way to go. And it's something we need to be intentional about. And that has brought us to a place where we have a vicious circle of broken men. Because a broken man can only pass brokenness to another man. A battered man can only pass that to another man. A shattered man can only pass the same thing to another man. As a people, as an organization, we must be intentional. Who is modeling to the men? These things we are saying, I think most time for the boys, we're only telling them, do this, but we're not showing them how. How should we do it? Who should show us a sample? Who should show us a model? And for me, it's even a call to fathers, to other men. These things we are saying that we don't want to see. Who is modeling it to our boys? But rather, what our boys are seeing on the internet are even the men who are smokers, drunkards, and promiscuous are the ones trading online, creating content, doing things. And our boys are watching and learning. And we don't want them to do the same thing, but I ask, what alternative are we giving them? We that are growing and have what it takes, what are we doing? I have some schools, some organizations. What is your plan for the future? What programs do you have in place to guide these boys and men to become what they want to be? We just expect men to grow and boys to grow and become what they should be without showing them the way. And for me, the place of modeling, the place of mentoring, being intentional about it. I see a lot of programs everywhere, but sometimes it's difficult to find programs that are streamlined to meeting the needs of men. If that intentionality is not there, we'll just be speaking in the air, but will not achieve the results. I was shocked to see that in the last 2 years that the out-of-school children in Nigeria, boys had over 10 points. As of 2 years ago, it was over 10 million. And boys had 62% of that number just in Nigeria. What are we doing? Why are we not telling ourselves the truth? Why are we not going to the root to address the issue? But yet, we are not doing anything to focus to make sure these boys go to school. But yet, we complain when they block the highway, when they block the train station, when they are bombing here and doing here. But we ask, what focus programs do we have to ensure that they learn? We say they shouldn't do that, but what are we showing them? What alternatives? What programs? I was in an all-boys school last year, and I was shocked to see that the head of counseling in that was a woman. I said, that is not correct. Yes, as intelligent as she might be, there are male issues that she will not be able to explain. These are the areas we must begin to streamline to be focused on issues that concern men. Even the men we are struggling and talking about in families that are not. What programs? We hardly even see when programs come up for men that were intentional to show that we care and want to see how we can help men understand who they are, where they are, and how to get to the next place. For me, I think in society, there have been a silent negligence on issues that concern boys and men. We have been living in denial, but we are suffering from the pain. A lot of our boys, I went to a school to do a program, and some of the boys tell me, this thing we are doing, if we see something else, we will not be here. Some of them were like, are you sure you came to talk to boys? Nobody has ever come to say, I want to come in and start and speak to them. Some of them, the things I was saying, a boy of 16 was telling me this is the first time somebody is sitting down to give him a sex education conversation. At 16, that's a great disfavor. And then you don't want that boy to be a rapist. You don't want him to be promiscuous, but yet you're not teaching him what to do. Most of them listen to the internet and believe in the lies they see. We are doing a great disfavor to our boys and men. And the ripple effect in the society is devastating. Families are suffering. Children are suffering. Society is suffering. Everybody is suffering. If we must change that narrative, then we must be intentional. And for me, that's where I want to really hammer. Modeling. What are the programs we have? How intentional are we to model? How intentional are we to raise, to train, to equip, to ensure that our children learn? How intentional are we? What are we doing? We're not intentional about it. Even the Men's Day, how many programs are we seeing? How intentional are we? It's really disheartening. But until we begin to do that, we will not see the results that we want to see. All right. And why is this important? For me, this is a major, I have 3 points. But if I will even dwell on this and finish, and we get to the point, then I'm fine with it. Why is this important? Because when you look at the prisons, sometimes in May, we are invited by the Lagos State Governor's wife, where she held a program for parents of boys during the International Day of the Boy Child. People don't even know there is a program like the International Day of the Boy Child, May 16. All right. And November 19 for the men. People don't even know. This one day that is for us, so many people don't know. That's why I'm so excited that an organization is seeing the need to talk about this. And we are invited by the governor's wife. And we saw the head of prisons for Lagos. And when he was talking in the panel discussion, he was like, this is a dire need. He was giving us the statistics of young men in the prison. And he said it's alarming. These are promising young men who should be at the peak of their career, but they feel our prison. He said they have over 80% of the occupants in the prison are men, are male. Young men wasting. When you go to drug rehabilitation homes, they are filled with boys and men. When you go to cultism, they are filled with drugs and men, boys and men. Is it fraud? They are filled with boys and men. Each time I go to prisons and these places and see them, my heart aches. You go to the police station, it's a rape issue, they are filled with boys and men. I keep asking most of them, why are you here? But do you know what I've discovered in most of them? Most of them were looking for answers. There was a vacuum. They didn't understand what it meant to be a responsible man. What they were seeing were models that were broken. And unconsciously, what they were beholding was what they became. And they found themselves in that mess. Most of them were there looking for a yearning, asking questions. Some say, this is the first time a man is sitting to talk to me and even ask me genuine questions. The society don't care. Everybody just expects me to be this. So when we don't model, when we are not intentional to teach, the result is that our prisons are filled. Our schools are filled. I was looking at the statistics of the WAEC and NECO result, and I saw that boys were dropping drastically. The implication for the future is devastating. Our prisons are filled. Oh, I saw this year the statistics of pornography, and men and boys are on top of it. Over 70% of those involved are men. Just this year, I was looking at the average porn age view for boys, and this year is 9 years old. The average porn view age is alarming. Is disturbing. Is disturbing. 9 years old. I tell you the truth and I lie not. Since the pandemic, the case of pornography I've handled with boys have been in the ages of 8 and 10. Have the higher number. You'll be wondering, what is a 6, 8 years old, 7 years old? What are they enjoying in pornography? But that is where we have found ourselves when we are not answering the questions, when we are not intentional to teach, to guide, when we are not teaching these young men what it means to be faithful, when we are not even modeling, we don't have other men modeling that. What do we expect? These are the implications. But people are saying, is there a problem? Does it matter? It matters. These boys are the ones that will become husbands. What will pornography do to their mindset? It's a mental disorder. It's a sexual disorientation. They begin to see women as sex objects. They begin to see no complication in different sexual activities. And they grow to marry like that. So we build our princesses and our queens to marry who? The boys we didn't train, the men we didn't guide. And then when they involve in rape and we are shouting, but I ask, what are we doing to help them? A boy that is not trained is not trained. The training will not fall from the sky. It will not magnet on his head. If he's not trained, he's not trained. If he's not equipped, he's not equipped. And so we must be intentional. We must be very, very conscious of this, please. And I want us to wake up as a people. That is what we are suffering. I'm just talking about pornography. Let's not even go to homosexuality. That is a different ballgame on its own. Is it fraudulent activities? Somebody is somewhere siphoning the money you kept in your bank somewhere. We are even afraid of the money that is in our banks. Who is modeling? Who is showing the path? Who is showing the way? So we keep complaining about boys and men, but yet we are not intentional to do anything. I'm here to tell you the truth. When I say something, it's not because I'm comparing, but the boys are watching. I see when we have even a lot of our boys, last year we had International Day of the Boy Child, I had International Boys Conference. A lot of boys were like, I didn't even know there's a day like that. Nobody calls us for conferences to teach us. Nobody is calling us to raise us and tell us this. It's worrisome. And if we continue like that, what will be the future of our institution in the next 20 years? What will be the future of our marriages and our homes in the next 20 years? What will be the future? Who is modeling? So helping boys and men involve intentional and strategic actions. And for me, it's so crucial because a lot depends on it. Leadership, homes, families depend on it. I've given you the reason why do they need help. We have seen the different areas where these issues are emanating from, where everybody is suffering from it. We cannot just close our eyes to these truths. I will say we keep living in denial, but our children and the society keep suffering from the ripple effect of broken men. Is it until everywhere is shut down, you can't move out of your house because young men that are not trained on the streets, they won't allow you to travel from point A to point B or even step out of your house? Is it until that happens that we begin to run ahead? Hey, where are they? Why do we like emergency situation? Why don't we begin to strategically work ahead of time? Look at what the gaming industry have even done to our boys. Pornography is now, they've left even the hardcore pornography. It's softcore in gaming and in animations. That is where pornography is trending now with boys. We don't even know what is happening. Through gaming and animations, deep. I can't tell you the number of cases I've seen. 6 years old, 7 years old, you think your child is just having a game app. Games that are highly sexualized. Animations that are highly sexualized. One of my mentees was telling me how a particular game, when you win the game, your compensation is that you strip a girl naked in animated way. What mess are we in? Do we even understand? Because the problem I have with us as a people is that we cannot fight a battle we are not aware of, and we cannot win a battle we are not prepared for. We're not aware of the battle. We're sitting on a time bomb, and the implication for the future is devastating if nothing is done at time. Like, are we not tired with the pain the families are going through from the hands of people that are not trained? Are we not even tired with the issue of the rape and the crisis we are having in the society? When are we going to look down and say, not just the act itself, what is the foundation of the act? What is the roots of the act? When are we going to say, let's not go and repair the thing they've damaged on the train station? Who damaged them? Why are they in the highway? Why are they in the bush? Can we take them to go back to where they are? It seems we are not tired. Oh, we're not tired that boys are not leaving school and saying school is a scam. And everybody's looking for laptop and internet to involve in crime and fraud. Is it not worrisome that our girls cannot even go out at 7 p.m. and somebody's there to rape them? I heard a heartbreaking story today of how even people at the top are shaming manhood who cannot have control over their sexual organs. Where did this start from? From the teenagers. From puberty, where people are not teaching and training them. Oh, we're not worried that our daughters may not have people to marry tomorrow if we don't go to work. We're not worried that these people will still find their way to leadership tomorrow. Whether trained or untrained, they will find their way. Whether trained or untrained. We are not worried. It's a reason why we must work. It's the reason why we must go to schools and begin to equip our boys early. Begin to help our men understand leadership. We are not worried. If we are worried, then our energy should be focused in the right direction. If we are truly worried, then our resources should be focused in the right direction. People ask me, you are doing boys' work. Who funds boys' work? Nobody funds boys and men work. They don't have any problem. I say we're just living in denial. Because that work you refuse to fund, you will use the same money to repair the damages the broken boys will do. We will use times 10 of that money to repair the damages a broken and irresponsible man will do. The damages are, some of them are irreparable. Why not channel a portion of that resource to helping them understand early? So that we avert, so that we prevent instead of repairing. Why do we like channeling our energy in the wrong direction as a people? We are still living in denial. And I'll keep saying it until we wake up to responsibility. We will not have the society that we dream of. Who is modeling? Who? Where are the models? Where are the samples? Who is the man that will be a template? And I'm speaking to helping our boys and men. Who? Where are the issues? What are these issues handled? The mental health of these men. Who is even talking to them that you need to speak up? How? All we do is to shut down and call names. Thank God for the verb art that even recognize boys now as victims, that can recognize them as victims of rape, because the criminal code did not recognize that. It defined rape affecting only girls, while thousands and millions of boys are being sexually abused every day. And we will not see it, but when they grow up to become promiscuous because of this distortion that happened at 5 or 6, we complain. But where is the foundation? Why are we not dealing with it? We are living in denial. But as long as we keep living in this denial, we'll keep suffering. We'll be suffering and smiling. If we channel a portion of that to say, how can we help our boys? How? So that we don't have to suffer. Why do we like to repair instead of prevent? Why do we like to spend more in repairing damages instead of going to say, how can these damages be averted? Why are they not in school? Why are they not productive? Why are their issues not handled? Why are they having questions that can't be answered? What is happening really? Are we not tired? We can say, oh, we don't have it. Some people say, we don't have leaders to choose. We are in between the devil and the deep blue sea. Who raised the deep blue sea and the devil? We raised them. We raised them. So let's get to a point where we're having different options of good people that we are wondering, who should we even take? Whoever we have seen today was raised by the society. The criminals, the fraudsters, the rapists, somebody raised them. So when we are not intentional, we suffer. We will keep leaving our boys in the street. Now, man, be. No be boy. You see them wandering about the street. I was somewhere one day, and I saw a woman say, why is your girl outside? Not be boy and be now. Why is he moving about when he's not a boy? I said, really? So the boys are wanderers. They should wander, but the girls should be protected. But tomorrow, when the boy becomes something, we'll complain. I don't know where I got this from, but we let them to wander. We are not sensitive. For me, sometimes I feel I can remove the scale from our eyes as a people, as a society. When are we going to stop suffering and smiling? So many organizations are crashing today. We will have a man up there who doesn't understand responsibility and integrity. It affects everything. It affects everything. Or do we now want to be having families where there are no men? Is that what we are saying? Is that the purpose of God? We can't have that. Or do we now have to have families where the men are no longer the head? Is that the purpose of God? We can't have that. And if we can't have that, then we must be intentional about the head that is there. No head becomes a correct head without nurturing, without teaching, without growing. You cannot grow if you're not fed, if you're not properly nurtured. But we want the heads of the men to just grow when they are not nurtured. How intentional are we? As I even try to round up and take questions. Even as parents, our boys that we have at home, how intentional? How intentional? You know, say, helping our boys and men doesn't mean we should leave boys to just be moving about. He's a man, he's a boy. Boys don't do anything. Go and lie down. Okay? Yeah, go and sleep. The girls are working and being trained. They are playing. If we must be helping somebody, means guiding that person into purpose. We must be intentional to be able to. I see somebody say, my son is 16, he's so lazy. I said, when he was 8, what was he doing? Did you understand responsibility at 8, at 7, at 6? I tell people, a fool at 10 is a fool at 40. A fool at 40 first became a fool at 10. A fool at 25 was not a fool at 15. All right? It's the foolishness from 15 that translated to 30. So we can't have men that have not been raised as boys. It won't work. I said, I'm so happy with this team, helping boys and men. Because no matter how we want people help so many men, how many can we help? For me, the best remedy, go to the boys. Let's deal with it. Because a lot of men are already formed. It takes a lot to change the mindset. But how can we begin to help our boys? But that brings us back to the question, who are the ones that will help? It takes a wise person to raise another wise person. It takes a responsible person to raise another responsible person. And it takes a man to raise another boy to become a man. A boy has to be a man. He's not a woman. No matter how wonderful a mother is, there are limitations when you're raising your boys. Because there are some things you can't connect and understand. So we need our men to do the work. I'm tired of women that say, my husband is shy about talking to my boy about sex education. Let me do the work. Madam, you don't have the private part of a man. Men are not menstruating. We have our own. How do you teach them when there's no experience? Let's get our men to action. For me, it's a rise to action to save our society from total collapse. From total collapse. And even our women that are listening, we have a role to play. Because for me, a lot of women contribute to this feminization of our boys, to this spoiling of our boys and men. Oh, it's my son, it's my son. It's my son, my only son. You begin to see the younger version of your husband in your son, and you don't want him to be responsible, only to just keep indulging and bailing him out. Bailing him out. We must. When we're in schools, we don't just say these boys, that is their own business. They should go and play. If they don't come to school, you focus on the other gender. No, everybody is needed. Let's not do that. When I went around to some schools to do something, 8 o'clock, some boys have not come to school. The girls are settled in class. It's none of our business. There must be systems and structures in place to make them learn. Because it's none of your business. That boy is the one that will shoot the ones that are trained on the streets tomorrow. We cannot be building people for others to be wasting. How long are we going to be suffering from the pain of that? Why not repair it from the foundation? It falls back to modeling. Helping our boys and men. But do we see the importance of that? Until we see it, we can't resolve it. Until we understand it. Until it becomes something very intentional and passionate in our hearts. We will not work. We are wasting a lot of money. People are suffering. For me, it's enough. Can we channel just a portion of this resource to helping them early? So that we will not regret tomorrow. A lot is going on. I can go, I've just said one point, modeling. I can talk like this for the next 5 hours when it comes to boys and men, because it's so deep that we need to deal with. But I want to stop here and take 1 or 2 questions, because I'm sure that I've seen the 1 hour session will have barely 15 minutes to go. Let me take questions so that I will not finish talking and not have time to take questions. Let me take 1 or 2 questions as we make progress in the conversation.
Okay, thank you, Coach Ebuka. Thank you. A lot of people joined, and some of them are just affirming all the things that you have been saying. But 1 or 2 comments that I noticed. One of our people online, Chine, made a comment that sometimes there are schools where girls are treated more strictly than the boys for any misdemeanor. So what do you do in such situations? It just buttresses what you're saying, that the girls are protected and the boys are left to do whatever they can do. And another person is saying that sometimes it's the mothers that spoil the boys. So when you have situations like that, what do you do?
Thank you very much.
How do you help men? Somebody said, how do you help men who refuse to be helped? That most men have this ego that they don't need help. So how do you help them?
Thank you very much. I'll start from that last point. How do we help men who refuse to be helped? We are the one that socialize men into believing that they don't need help. And the same socialization is what we are giving to our boys. When we make them feel they don't need help, they know everything. When we don't go to schools, when we only go to talk to girls and not talk to boys, you know what we're telling them? They don't need help. They know everything. So whatever we're seeing in the men today is what we as a people socialize them into. And I see us making the same mistakes in our sons. We were not intentional to organize programs to teach and equip boys. You know what we're telling them? The girls need help. You don't need help. You have everything you need. So most time when they now grow and you want to now help them, they are saying, I have grown to know that I don't need help. So why are you telling me to become what I've not been raised to do? When our boys make mistakes at home, I will just close our eyes to it. We just bail them out. You know, you're my only child. We're always intentionally telling them, you don't need help. So whatever we have seen in men today is what the society socialized them into. And that's what we're saying, that for the boys, we must go now to the roots. Because how do we now want to, do you want to restructure a man's brain that have been formed and grown? No. Let's go back and begin to help our boys. We socialize them into it. Everything we complain about the men today, we socialize them into it. We make them believe that from the homes, when we bail out our sons, when we overindulge them, when they have assignments to do and we are not properly guiding them, when they have issues on sex education and we are not telling them what to do, you know what we are saying? You don't need help. You know, help everything you take. When you go for programs, you carry the girls and leave the boys. You know what you're telling them? You don't need help. You have all it takes. That is what our boys are growing with. When they sit down at home and refuse to work refuse to do what they need to do, what do you tell them? You don't need help. You have all it takes. What are we doing to help? So we must go back now and be intentional and begin to teach our boys responsibility. Expose them to programs, though. Organize intentional programs that will help them. When we do that, we are telling them, you need help. When I go to school, I tell the boys, you can't do it, you need help. This is what you should do. This is what I was just telling you. The boy of 16 told me he has sex education conversation for the first time when he went to their school. So what has the boy been told all the years? You have everything, you don't need help. That is what we're suffering from our men. Let's stop bailing out our boys. Let's start inculcating discipline early. If we want to correct this mistake, it's not from the top of the tree, it's from the roots we will go to it. So it's a pity of what we are facing with a lot of men. And that's why in marriages they are suffering today. When we tell our boys, we don't tell our boys, I love you, you look, when we don't affirm them, we tell them we have everything. That's why they will marry, they will not affirm their own wives too. They will walk out of the house. They will go and come back when they try, they want to. We are the ones that socialize them. Let's start working. Secondly, the issue.
Can't hear you.
But the boys hostel, oh, no offense, tattered and abandoned. What are we telling the boys? If something is reading in their psyche. You go to schools, yes, I told you I went to schools. I went to school at 8. I only saw a few boys, and the girls were seated. Where are they? They come. I don't know, that's their business. It's not their business. That is why you are there. What structures are you putting in place for them to be in school at the right time? They can't just walk in when they want to. It means we have failed in a structure and a system that should guide them. So when we are doing that, we think we are just leaving them to become what they are. No, we always suffer from it tomorrow. What are we doing? Oh, that's why every school now you see the best graduating. The girls are doing excellently well, and I applaud them. You know why? They did the work. They are committed to the work. But we, the boys, leave them now, they are not serious. We are the ones that we intentionally, we don't understand structures and system of raising children in the 21st century. A boy, he says, is not serious, he will leave. We give an unskilled boy, he will frustrate you in life. That boy, wait, let him be 18 and 20. One of the biggest issues you have in life as a parent is to have an adult boy. To have an adult boy, a 25-year-old man that is still the body of a teenager. He is frustration pro max. To have a 30-year-old man that's still behaving like a child. And that is what we are seeing. I don't blame them. We raised them that way. We raised them. We raised them. Thank you. My coach is here, Coach Wendy, a lady of intentional parents. She's my mama, my coach. And as the one that equipped me in this work that I'm doing. Mama, thank you. We raised them that way. So when we keep doing that, what are we showing the boys? They can have their way. And that is not helpful for us. I told you I went to a school and I saw that a full boys school, the counselors and the head of the counseling were women. We're not serious. We're joking, right? We're really joking. Because when this boy will frustrate us in life, frustration promax, as in, that's when you will be crying as a mother and a father. How did my son become this? Some people come here and say, my son is 25. Help me. He's still not doing. I say, I'm not working with men. I'm not working in adult boys. That's not what I'm called. It's boys, not adults. Adult boys, men that are adults but men in their body. We must be intentional and wake up from this slumber. So what are we doing? When we are in schools, let's focus. Understand the in ways that will help a lot of our boys understand. Can make academic performance dropping drastically. Well, we don't mind. They will become leaders now. That one that refused to go to school, that will refuse to help him learn, will still become the president tomorrow and will suffer. They will be governors and senators now. They will be the leaders of the ones that we raised. It's hot. So let's not just look in the now. Let's look at the future. What is the implication for the future? If we don't raise them, who will be our leaders? Who will be our senators, our governors, our presidents? So let's not say they don't want it. How are we able to help them understand the system and structures at this time to run? And the last question of mothers. Yes, can you hear me?
Sorry. Yes, I can hear you. You said something now about how do we help them? Because One of the questions that has been raised here is that what about men that have not been trained? Some of them, maybe they lost their dad when they were young, so they grew up being trained by their mom. So how do you help such men with their children? And you said something about systems and structures of training boys. How can that be applied? And at what age can men start doing those things?
Thank you very much. Like in my Boys Leadership Academy, we have a lot of single mothers. And I tell mothers everywhere who don't, who their husbands are late or separated, that no matter what you do, you still need the help of a male mentor. And I tell those women to look for professional help. We have boys coaches. We have our Leadership Academy for boys. We have trained thousands of boys, giving that support system to those parents. And I tell them, come and learn. We have books. I have books on boys and men that I've read, raising boys and men. We have them. They are training. I've specifically done trainings for parents of boys and a special training for single mothers raising boys. I have over 50% of the boys in my academy are from single homes. And so if women are in such situation, what do we say? Seek help. The challenge I'm having is that most women always feel, oh, there's no need for that. But seek help. Most of them see the ripple effect when the boy is an adult. Seek help. When your logo is here, you go to Intentional Parents Academy. Like if there's anybody, see, she just started. You're not Intentional Parents Academy. Go out. In fact, follow her before you follow me. You will learn on parenting. Parenting in the 21st century is not 1982. We don't have TikTok then and Snapchat. We're in a different world altogether. So go for knowledge. That's what I tell those parents. Go for knowledge, go for training, put them in the Boys Academy, put them in mentoring sessions on programs that will help. There are male mentors you can look for that are skilled to guide them. And I tell parents, bring out investment resources set aside for raising them right. So that is what I encourage those parents to do. Bring them to the academy, we'll raise them. Bring them to programs, okay. Go to Intentional Parents, and that will really help you to understand the skills to raise them at this time.
You have opened our eyes to the availability of training for parents to help their children, both women and men. But are there a few specific things that our listeners can take away from this program this evening? Things that they can do, even on a daily basis, even before they join these programs or enroll for these programs that you're talking about? Are there things that men can do that will teach them value, that will teach them how to really be a man, how to be disciplined, teach them leadership and things like that?
Thank you very much. I may say a few things, but the truth is that parenting is not an emergency. It's a process and it's a structure. But I'll say a few things that you can do, but if you don't follow through the process and structure, you might not really be able to sustain or achieve that, all right? And one of the things I tell those parents is conversations. But the truth is that even when you want to have conversation with your son and you don't know how to do it, you don't know the way, because there's a way to the city, that will also be difficult. So at the end of it, I'll still come back to going for knowledge on how to do it. But to just give a very quick one, most parents are not having conversations. They don't really know their children. And I say, a son you don't connect with, you cannot help. You cannot correct, you cannot equip, you cannot raise. So how do you connect? How do you understand what is going on in the 21st century? Do you know their peculiar issues, the trends? So you need to know what is happening and be having daily conversation. Have conversation on sexuality, on pornography, on homosexuality. Have conversation on drugs. Have conversation. There's no magic, right? So you need to have conversation on critical areas. Your sons are going through puberty. They will not just pass through that phase. Have conversation on erection, on nocturnal emission, wet dream, on crushes. All right? So when your sons know that you care, you are aware that they are going through a phase. When they are aware that you understand that they are going through a phase that is, a parent that listens, a parent that's open. So it's like, come unto me and I'll come unto you. Draw near to me and I'll draw near to you. That drawing near, that conversation shows the child you are interested. You are drawing near. So most parents are not drawing near. They say, my child is not talking. He's not talking. But are you talking? Are you showing the way? So one quick thing I'll say, have conversation on different areas that concern them. But even to have that conversations, you need to go for knowledge. When you do that, then your child will be open to talk to you. Let me share with last question this thing. Last month, one of my boys reached out to me. Some boy reached out to me from somewhere, not even in Nigeria. I said, my friends in class, they're talking about ejaculating. And if I'm not ejaculating, I'm not a big boy. He didn't even understand the difference between nocturnal emission and masturbation. To him, ejaculating is something he must do. Other boys are doing. The parent didn't even know how to explain that to him. All right? But if they were able to, I gave him the answer he needed. If they were able to know that, okay, the power of first mention, most students hear this from outside. Your child should even know what is ejaculation, what is nocturnal emission, what is erection, what is crushes, before the friends tell them. All right? I use the parenting start from the womb. All right? From even a toddler, I can teach sex education. I can show them how to teach 1 to 3 sex education. Yes, as early as that. The earlier, the better. Because these people that are against our soul are going to cartoons to put this thing into sexualizing. So conversations, skillful conversations is so crucial. Knowing the face your child is going through, telling him ahead of time what he should know. Before crushes come, he has learned from you. Before erection come, he has heard from you. Before he has his first wet dream, he has heard from you. Not that he will go to school and they are telling him this, he will not believe. Before he hears about pornography, he has heard from you what pornography means. The ripple effect, how it destroys people in the future when he knows that the power of first mention. If somebody else is telling him something different, he knows that my parents have equipped me and I know what to say. But most issues I see with most boys is that they don't know. People lure them and they become entangled before the parents want to start seeking help. And by then, most of those damages become unrepairable. Go for knowledge.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so are you going to continue with the second aspect of the talk? Because you said you were going to talk about 3 things. And we're enjoying this so much.
Yeah, even though I've mentioned the other things, beyond the first one, I talk about modeling. The second thing I want to talk about in raising boys and men is structures, having structures and routines in place. And I've mentioned a lot of that. All right. I go to schools, I don't see most of our curriculum on sex conversation does not even streamline to the boys. That is the truth. We talk about menstruation, we talk about this, but we're not even streamlining to erections, nocturnal emission. We are not streamlining. So what structures do we have in raising our boys and men? Who have international men's day and boys of the World of the Boy Child? What structures does the government have in doing that? During the girls, I see them organize very wonderful conferences, but we see none for the boys. These same boys, they will see the girls leaving their schools for their own day. The government is calling them, but their own day, nobody is calling them. Then you want the same boy to come back to that society and applaud the society and do what the society wants. No, you know what they're doing? They're fighting back. That's what the feedback they give me. Say, they call them, nobody calls us. And so you want us to come and be happy with that society? Let's give it back to them. Most of the rebellion we are seeing in our boys is giving back of what the society has given to them. What structures do we have? When we go to our schools, what structures do we have in making sure these boys are raised? Say, look, our girls are good, understand menstruation, understand how to sit, how to talk, how to read. Most boys don't even know how to sit, how to talk, how to walk. Who told their body should not know how to walk or how to sit? They must know. Most boys are in 13, 14. They don't know when to start wearing brief. They're always moving about their private parties, dangling and standing everywhere. They don't know. They need to know. These are the issues that brings about some other things we don't want to hear or see. When a man is going through crushes and emotion, it's deep. It's deep. They don't know what to do. All they're looking for is who to pounce on. So for me, I say, what structures are we putting in place? Not just as a family, as a government, as a people. In the society, what structures are we putting in place? All this non-Nawu, all this 1 million boys there. What structures? With all that we have seen out of school boys that I told you we have higher in boys, all this security. I'm still looking for what structures the government will put and say, let's go and begin to. These boys are on the street. Why are they leaving schools to the streets? Can we go to the grassroots and begin to deal with it from the beginning? No structure. We will have a structureless society, especially in raising our boys and men. Be sure that we're going to have chaos, shattered and battered institutions, families and society that may become irreparable. These are the 2 things I wanted to talk about. First, I talked about mentoring, modeling. Secondly, I talked about structures that we all need that are very, very effective in handling what we need to do. And then the last thing I want to talk about is even knowledge, going for knowledge and building skills to help our boys. And I've even mentioned that already. Because raising boys in the 21st century, I keep saying it is not 1951, where the different ball game altogether. The issues are deeper, they are peculiar, they are strategic. So if we don't have knowledge, if we don't upgrade in our knowledge, I keep saying, a lot of our boys in our schools have passed the knowledge of what we are teaching them. We are telling them what they know in 1960. They say we are in the 21st century. Even schools, do they understand what the boys need? Do they understand their peculiar needs, what the boy is going through? Are we going for knowledge? Are we building skills to help boys? Because helping boys and men requires a lot of skills. Some people are saying, I'm looking for books for boys. Yes, there are books, but there are very few. Are there people that do have programs where people go to learn about how to help boys and men? So we must go for knowledge. We must be skillful. I tell government, societies, organizations like we are doing, call professionals. I'll be traveling next week to help an organization to teach them how to raise boys. This is so important. This weekend, I'm going to speak to a group of professionals on how to raise boys. It's so important that no matter the money you've made as a man or as a family, if you have a wayward son, if you have a boy that is shattered, you know you can't eat that money in peace. You will divert that money to rehabilitation, to police cases, to drugs, boys that sell their parents' houses. You can't have peace. To curing yourself from high blood pressure and terminal diseases that will come as the pain and the frustration of raising a broken boy who will suffer the ripple effect. Why not channel a portion to training, a portion to knowledge, a portion to building skills, a portion to be strategic? I'm in a parenting training every year. I pay parenting program. My mentor is here, Wendy. I pay to learn. I rather pay 50,000 to learn than to pay 3 million in rehabilitation that the person will not be cured. We are not going for knowledge. I'm expecting organizations to come and begin to be intentional about families. Because no matter the wealth we build, if we don't have people that have sense to handle the wealth, they will crumble it in the twinkling of an eye. Let's go for knowledge. Let's begin to call. I see some people they will call some artists, which is good. Spend billions calling artists. But the children, we don't have people taking over from us. We're not intentional to pass down values to generation. We're not passing down something, a legacy. That is the word. We are not passing down legacy. We are passing down celebrities. We are passing down and bears to our generation. We are not passing down legacies. And we will pay dearly for it. Let organizations begin to organize parental training. It's so crucial that no matter what we gather as the people, if we don't have people who will take over and run with it, we have failed woefully. Let's stop passing down things that doesn't make sense. Let us passing down celebrities and celebrity lifestyle and trends. Let's pass down legacy. Let's raise our children well. Every other thing hinges on it, because I will say again, an unraised boy, an irresponsible child, an unskilled child will drain life from you. We frustrate life from you. We make all the money you have gathered for your life look like a loaf of bread, wasted. You look at it, it's like a stench because you don't have peace. If there's no fulfillment, you can't enjoy wealth. If there's no fulfillment, you cannot enjoy family. If there's no fulfillment, we cannot enjoy as a people. It is in raising our boys who will become men, who will become husbands, who will become fathers. As they will have peace. If we raise our boys, we will not need to be talking about rape, because the rapists have been helped. If we help them, we will not be talking about fraud, because the fraudsters have been helped. We'll not be talking about insecurity, because those that are standing to bomb the train line have been helped. Let's go and do. This is even more easier than going through the pain of damaged society. Let's do the work. And now, thank you, my coach, that said an unskilled child is a burden to the parents and to the society at large. It's just like having a big head without neck. It's weight to the body. When our children are not skilled, it means we are escaping the neck. We are just having a head on a body that is a weight. There's a missing line. The head needs a neck that can carry it. And knowledge is power. Knowledge is stability. Knowledge is strength. Knowledge can raise you. Knowledge lifts you. Knowledge gives you strength and stability to run. When we lack knowledge, we lack the missing gap. And we have weights instead of strength to the nation. Thank you.
Thank you. Coach Ebuka, you've spoken so much about modeling, about mentoring, about conversations. with the children. You've spoken about getting knowledge, parental training and all of that. But how do parents protect children, from pedophiles and people who can lure them? A lot of times, boys are on the internet. Some of them are in Nigeria. They have friends in different parts of the world that they don't see. They are playing games. They are having conversations with them. And sometimes some adults pretending to be a little boy gets into such conversations. How do you protect children from such things, especially when you don't even, parents don't even know that children are doing all of this?
Thank you very much. How do we prevent children from pedophiles and from the internet, all of those? As parents, the challenge I'm having is I see a lot of parents who carry, it's like putting a child in the desert without, when you carry a phone with an internet and give to an underage child, you are putting that child in the desert without a roadmap. And it's definitely going to be this way. For me, most parents are releasing their children too early, exposing their children too early. I see 8 years old who have tabs, who have phones with internet, no guidance. But for God's sake, this child is still developing. The mind is still growing. He cannot fully take the decisions by himself at this time. So the challenge that when you begin to expose them early, so by the time they become adult, they've lost that time where they should build stability and control, and they begin to misbehave. And I tell you the right screen control. A lot of our screens that they want, even raising our children are not the parents. A lot of children have digital parents. Their phones are their parents. Digital parents. The phones, the gadgets are parenting. The mother and the father are the assistant parents. And it can't work that way. So if we give our children phones at the right time, when they are fully matured and understand, we know have most of the problem we are having. Because that time that they are still forming, you expose them. They have strangers online that they don't know how to properly channel. So they begin to build. So their minds now adjust that it's okay to talk with strangers. It's okay to go into these things. By the time they become adults, it has become an addiction they cannot deal with. So we are the one causing most of the problem. If we release phones to our children early, yeah, you must need to raise children without screens. Screen is not the best in raising children. Let's build comfort. That's why we're losing social connection. Children are disconnected. Children that cannot be online and have sex and do all manner because we have lost touch of humanity. So let's begin to know how to raise children without screen. Screen time should be highly minimized. When we come to our parents training, we'll tell you what screen time, what hour should be given a particular child per day or even per week as they grow. Let's raise our children. So most of those challenges is because we expose them early. And for pedophiles, how do we know? For me, a child understands sex education. I've told you that from 1 to 3, if I'm teaching sex education, I'll tell you what to do to 1 to 3, 6 to 9, 6 to 8, 9 to 12, 13 to this, how to teach them sex communication. When a child understands bad image and good image early at 3, a man that is doing this is wrong, and man that's doing this is right. When they understand that early, so when a pedophile comes, they know. Most children don't know because they've not been taught. And I tell parents, when you're teaching your child early, good image or bad image, you yourself, are you undressing it in front of that child? When you keep on dressing in front of him, you're dressing up and you're making up and you have naked in front. What are you telling that child? It's okay for somebody to be naked in front of you. So when a pedophile comes and is naked, because they are used to even their parents dressing in front of them at 3, at 4, so they feel it's okay for another person to do that. Whatever you don't want your child to see in another person and feel is okay, you yourself must model it. So for pedophiles, it depends on how you have your sex conversation, how you model sexuality as the child is growing will determine what the child will do when he comes in contact with a pedophile. For a child that is properly educated, sex education, good sex conversation, who understands who is a stranger, who is not a stranger, how to relate with stranger, what is the bad image, what is the good image. Most of them, those pedophiles start with pornography, showing them naked images. All right. When you don't tell them, when you always leave your phone and you're always having people on your phone who are always dancing, when you follow celebrities who open their body, always twerking and dancing, your children are watching. So when the pedophile is showing them a naked picture, they're normal. They're comfortable because they've seen it in their parents' home over time that people can be half naked. So most time we expose our children and put them into a vulnerable position because of what we unconsciously model. So when you are parents who follow transgender, follow people who are half naked, who are always exposing their body, you yourself exposing your body, you expect your child to know when somebody else is exposing, the child will feel is normal. It's also okay because my parents are used to it. So what happens at that time is, how do you sex educate your child? That will determine whether you recognize a pedophile or not. And any parents who makes that mistake will take full responsibility because it shows you didn't properly equip. Thank you.
Okay, quick. I know we've really overshot our 1 hour, but I want us to take a question, Chineye. He's asking that, how do you handle a child who sulks when you restrict screen time?
How do you answer yourself? Who sucks when you restrict screen time? How old is that child? So it means...
Well, she did not mention.
Okay, Chine, that means that child has been raised with screen time. And so now that you are trying to withdraw, the child is throwing tantrums. Because every child responds to how you raise them. All right, that's why I tell parents, the earlier you begin to withdraw screen and help them understand screen, the better. For me, if a school, all they do 24 hours is to just show screen, my child cannot go to that school. If you're teaching my child, if I want screen to teach the child, I'll put him at home. All right, so how is the child even learning in school? How are they exposing that child? 12 years. So if at 12 years, I'll ask Ms. Chineye, how was that child, was he used to screen? Some of them is because the parents, they've been used to it. The parents is trying to, to do the otherwise. And I tell parents, you are the parents, you are in charge, you are in control. Your children must, try to give this thing here and there. But you must know what you want. If you keep saying, oh, because he's sucking, let me give him. That's the bailing now we are talking about. You keep giving him and keep until he goes out. The day you don't give him, he will break something and fly up and land himself on the floor. He must learn from the house that screen time, these are structure. A 12 years old should understand. If you are in my mentoring session on 12, you should understand structure. This time you must do this, this time must not do that. What is screen time? They must understand accountability and mentoring and coaching at this time. So I'll tell that parent, how was that child raised? You must begin to put your foot down in inculcating discipline. And every discipline must come with consequences, not beating, not shouting, not this. How do you withdraw privileges from a child? You are in charge as a parent. You are the one parenting the child. The child is not parenting you. So you must know how to say, this is it. And when that child understands that discipline over time, then he becomes used to it. And even to the parent, I say, most of us, we sit in our house. We are watching Telemundo from 12 p.m. to 6 a.m. And then we say our children should not watch. You that you are saying screen time, what are you also watching? How many hours are you also spending on screen? Because we must model what we want our children to watch. All right, so there's a structure in doing this, and that structure emanates from you and flows to your child. And when you follow that structure in the right way, you're going to have a child who will not just be obedient, but who will honor you as a parent because you understand honor as a skill.
Thank you so much, Coach Ebuka.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's so nice having you with us. Thank you. We've learned so much. And I know that a lot of people, they've taken in all the things you've said, and we cannot overemphasize the.
We cannot. That's why I said they should come to Inner Circle. Come to Coach Wendy is the intentional. But just come, man. You will be. We will load you with knowledge.
Can you please just tell us where they can, maybe your handle, where they can just learn one or two things on your IG handle?
Okay, so they've seen my IG handle. They have a program for boys, mentoring program, coaching. Our Academy for Boys is coming up in December. The 6th cohort, we've trained over 1,000 boys from different countries. If you finish that program, you'll come and thank me later. We'll have boot camps in different cities for boys, but you must go through the academy first. We have mentoring program and coaching for boys, but you must first do at least level 1 of the academy, which is holding in December. Once you click the link, the LinkedIn link on my bio in Instagram, you will see how to register for it, okay? Follow my handle. Secondly, if Coach Wendy is there, you see somebody here now, intentional parents. Just follow immediately. Inner Circle is closing in 10 or few days time, either 10 or 8 days. Please join. You will join Inner Circle. You will come next year and come and roll and give me the money and say thank you for this. I'm in Inner Circle. It's a program for parents for 1 year where you will. It's a school of parenting. I've been there for 2 years and it has changed my life forever. My wife is even joining to see the impact my wife saw, and she's joining Inner Circle in the next cohort. So follow intentional parents and join the inner. Come to the yard and everything you need, a girls' coach, a boys' coach, parenting, and down to your marriage, that there to help you, and you'll be happy you did. Thank you.
So what's your last word for the 2022
Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for
International
having
Men's
me.
Day with helping boys and men? But what's the last word, your last word for this year's International Men's Day, helping men and boys?
First, I want to say thank you to an organization like this. You are an insurance organization, I'm sure. Insurance, right?
Yes.
What's mutual
Benefits Assurance
Insurance. So I was shocked for an insurance company to come up and have this conversation. For me, that is mind-blowing. And that is what we are talking about. Because everybody is affected, no matter the organization. So thank you for seeing it. Secondly, I want to say I'm really happy with this team this year, helping that boys were included. For me, is a big one. And the last word I will say again is the quote of Jonathan Edwards. If our boys are not equipped to lead families, the families of the next generation will have no leaders. To all the boys and men out there who are going through deep issues, I want to say your voices are heard. Your feelings, your emotions are felt. We love you. There are people speaking for you. Let's begin to speak up. Let's begin to hold each other's hands. Let's begin to raise other people that will raise other people and build a generational legacy that will change the world. I'm proud of you. I love you. Say to other men around you, I love you. Hold each other's hand. There's a lot ahead of us, and we must not faint. We must be strong to win this war. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Bye.